Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. On today's episode of me talking about some of the things, I'm going to be going over Flame On or Flame Out. Now before I continue, check out the links in the description below. And at the beginning of the episode, we see the survivalists relinquishing all crafted fire making kits, but they are able to use any earned assets and cordage to help them make primitive fire. And after a few phases, they must burn a rope that will release a map that will lead them to the final zone of the competition. There are 3 maps, and the one without a map will be eliminated. And the different phases are collecting materials, making their fire kits, and making a fire, burning the rope, and releasing the map. And Chini has paracord, which gives her an advantage if she were to make a bow drill, but she wants to make a hand drill. And so everyone gathers the materials. Patrick, Chini, and Matt get all the materials for their bow or hand drills, and we see Darren kind of being a little bit behind, but he wants to make sure that he gets the best materials possible. And a little bit through the challenge, Chini and Matt decide to go from hand drills to bow drills. So for any survivalist who's taking on the last one standing competition and you're doing primitive fire, make a bow drill. The hand drills never seem to really work out, even though Chini and Matt did have success the night before, but maybe the heat affected their hand drilling process, but we don't know for sure. And Darren is the first to make primitive fire, and he uses techniques such as wetting his cordage for his bow drill and using nose grease for the top part of the thing that you put on top of the stick to help minimize friction. I don't exactly remember what the thing is called, but he uses nose grease to help decrease friction. So he was very smart and methodical. And then a little bit after him, Matt is the second to complete his primitive fire and move on to the next zone. So it is a neck and neck race between Chini and Patrick. And Chini ends up getting her cherry and she is able to start her primitive fire. And Chini moves on to the next phase of the competition. And unfortunately, Patrick is eliminated. I could hear the cheering from my house. It's sad to see him go. He was a little bit of a villain throughout the series, but he got the respect of the other survivalists, and he did work very hard to get to where he needed to be. And so I respect him. He had a very tsundere story arc, which is an anime trope. It'll make sense if you watch it, but it's someone who kind of starts out really mean, but sort of softens towards the main character or someone they care about. But oh well, unfortunately, Patrick is eliminated, so it's very sad to see him go, while the other 3 gather their materials and migrate half a mile to the final zone. And day 29, Chini goes fishing, Matt makes a hat out of a boar hide and goes hunting. And just kidding, there's a scroll. They are told they need to go to a spot on the map and bring their assets. It is implied they will need to dig, and only Darren has a shovel. The survivalists must build a baited primitive bird trap. They must collect 4 crickets. Then phase 2 is making the trap that is large enough to capture a peahen. Phase 3 is digging a hole. And phase 4 is setting, triggering, then resetting their trap. First place gets the choice between a peahen or a saw. Second place chooses whichever remains, and third place gets nothing. The challenge begins, and Chini is the first to complete phase 1, which is getting 4 crickets. And then the basket trap must have a base of 2 feet by 2 feet and must be 18 inches in height. Matt is second to make it to the next phase, followed by Darren. And they begin working on their traps after gathering the material. And Darren has a shovel, which is a huge advantage for him after he's done making his trap. Chini is the first to get her trap done, but Darren has the easiest time of digging. Darren ends up getting first place in the challenge, and it's a neck and neck race between Matt and Chini. Matt decides to go to a muddy area to dig his hole to make it easier for him, and so he's able to finish phase 4, and he has to run to the finish line. And right as Chini is resetting her trap, Matt crosses the finish line, so Darren gets first, Matt gets second, and Chini gets nothing. And knowing how tools can be important for the final challenge, Darren decides to go with the saw while Matt gets the peahen. And we have PSR updates. Darren's PSR goes to a 9.8 because of getting first in both the challenges. Matt also has a PSR increase to a 9.8 because of his successes in the challenge, even though he got second in both challenges. And Chini goes from a 9.0 to a 9.2 after being able to make fire before Patrick. And unfortunately, she got third in the bird trap making challenge, but her PSR still increases, which is good because she's very talented. And one gauntlet remains, and the survivalists head back to their camps, and the episode ends. And thank you all so much for listening. Please comment nice things, like, and subscribe. And the next episode is titled 3 Dog Fight to the Finish. And the synopsis is, with the $100,000 prize on the line, the final gauntlet of challenges tests each survivalist bushcraft, bow, and fire-making skills. The competition is neck and neck, with all 3 competitors seconds from claiming the title of last one standing. Dun dun dun! We shall see what happens. Thank you all so much, and have a wonderful day. Okay, bye-bye.